Let's tackle the question, is Auburn recruiting trending up? Transfer portal targets to look at. And also we'll get Charlie 5, Auburn message board legends, thoughts on A-Day, all on today's Locked On Auburn.
Well, Zach, I actually just finished crushing some chicken farm, and I am freaking ready to rock and roll.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. It's a Charlie Tuesday because we are joined by Auburn message board legend, Charlie 5. We'll get to your thoughts on A-Day in just a second, but we didn't talk about this a ton yesterday because there was just so much that happened over the weekend. Terrance Love becomes Auburn's second member of their 2023 recruiting class, a really big safety out of Georgia, guy that is really good at playing in the middle of the field. He can move pretty well. He's pretty rangy. He'll hit the crap out of you. There's a lot to like about this news.
Oh, huge. I mean, for those that have been, worried or concerned or are still skeptical, that's a top 100 recruit. That's a Rivals 100 guy. I don't even think we had one in the last class, and that's your second commit of the year. Big, like you said, big safety, and this is another big thing. Langston Hughes High School. There's 4 top recruits, 3 4-stars, a very highly thought of 3-star. We like all of them. One's already committed to Georgia. He's a big offensive lineman, but he is anything but solid, and he's been to Auburn several times. There's a big defensive lineman that we're after, and then there's a very athletic tight end. So this is a big pickup. There's no way to spin this any other way but extremely positive. So Terrance Love thought he was going to commit 2 weeks ago, held off for whatever reason, but Zach, again, makes it happen. Zach cures whatever.
Zach Etheridge, not me.
Zach Etheridge, yeah. Zach Etheridge.
I had nothing to do with this.
You may have had something to do with it. Who knows?
Absolutely not.
But yeah, he's able to close. He's definitely our ace guy, and this is just further evidence of that.
Yeah. And so for the negative Nancys out there that do want to spin this negatively and saying, well, he's only got 2 members of the 2023 recruiting class so far. Auburn is 40th in the country according to 247, but there's only 3 other teams that have 2 signees or 2 commits ahead of them. One is Bama, which is at 30. Oregon's 1 spot ahead of them, and I think the other one's LSU, if I recall correctly. And so just to kind of put in perspective, like, these other schools aren't freaking out. Like, there's no reason. Auburn fans like to do this, but, like, there's no reason to be freaking out about the 2023 recruiting class right now.
Not right now. We're going to pick up some steam. I mean, if we're going to be completely honst, we're going to have to fight an uphill battle. Like, there is going to be negative recruiting at every stop. Like, every time
we did this to ourselves. Like,
every time a kid, we're getting amazing talent on campus, and every time those kids come on campus and they get hot and bothered and love it. They go home and they're going to get blown up with other schools telling them that coach ain't even going to be here in December. Like, I mean, and that's kind of what happened with Terrance Love. He was about to commit, some people got in his ear. He held off, but Zach went ahead and closed it. I think, honestly, any highly rated kid that we get just shows like exponentially how hard they're working to close these kids, because they're fighting a huge uphill battle right now.
Right. Staying on the topic of recruiting before we jump into your thoughts on A-Day, Charlie 5, the very talented quarterback, Chris Vizina, he is announcing where he's going later today, 3:15 Central Time on Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
At, Briarwood Christian, he's announcing it at the school. Seems like Clemson's the favorite, but Auburn made the cut of the final 6 teams.
Yeah, probably going to be either Clemson or Georgia. If I had to pick. And he's a stud. He was our top on the board. But again, that kind of kid, that's a very high caliber quarterback. It seems like, I mean, I'm not saying it, but from the outside looking in, Auburn's a little bit of an unstable looking program at the moment. If we run off 9-10 wins this year, that changes a lot of things. But I think a lot of kids it's a wait and see at that level when they're that highly recruited. Immediately this weekend, when we figured out that was going to happen, we offered another kid whose first name is actually Auburn, from Tennessee. I can't remember his last name, but I thought that was interesting. Another quarterback. He's a little bit lower recruited, but so is Holden Garner, and they picked him out early, and he just skyrocketed in the rankings. I'll look up the kid's name a little bit later, but I do know his first name's Auburn because it was obviously.
Weird.
Surely we got to get a guy. We got to get a guy named Auburn.
I feel like it's almost the opposite. I feel like it almost hurts us.
We never get those kids.
I mean,
legacies never come to Auburn.
I would never sign with a place called Zach University.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Would you sign with Charlie 5U?
Heck yeah.
Yeah, you probably would.
I want Charlie 5 everywhere. So give it to me. Let's go.
There we go. Yeah, believe it or not, a lot of people want Charlie 5 everywhere, and there's nothing wrong with that.
In recruiting in general, I would say I will say this: they're working their tails off. They are absolutely working their tails off. I mean, it's a complete 180 shift in philosophy. Getting tons of offers out there instead of a select few. Getting tons of kids on campus instead of just those select few. Working all the angles. They seem to be really, really busting it, and they have to right now. They have to overcome. They have to overcome what has transpired, and that's going to mean they're going to have to work 3, 4, 5, 10 times harder than the rivals, who all they're going to do is just downplay the staff, and you just got to outwork it. You got to outwork it. Right. So I've got a good. I feel pretty good moving forward. I think we could land. I think the next one is probably early May, if we don't have one before that, is going to be hopefully Jeremiah Cobb. Bad, out of running back, out of Montgomery. Watch his film. Search Jeremiah Cobb huddle, and you have to slow it down to see him. He's so fast.
He's so smooth, man. Yeah.
So smooth. Good looking kid. Hopefully we can close him. He was already tweeting after the Terrance Love commitment, some like Eagles and the little look eyes thing. So
we'll look at you, man. We will look at you.
Yeah.
You have everyone's attention, brother.
Yeah, exactly. So things moving in the right direction. I think Bryan said it best in the Locked On Auburn Discord. This class is going to be judged in the trenches. So this just got to be a must. Got to get some offensive linemen, and there's a ton of those dudes that have been coming multiple times. So let's see how it works out.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Charlie 5 joining us on a Charlie Tuesday. Hey, today's show brought to you by BetOnline, as they are the number one source for all of your betting stats and sports info. You can head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about all of the trends and the action. Baseball is full swing, pun intended. And also the NBA is about to heat up as playoffs are getting going. So a lot to get involved with. Also, if you're only exclusively football or exclusively college football, they have a ton of futures up, and we'll do a special on that sometime in the next few weeks. That'll be fun to look at. So go to BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, Charlie 5, what are your thoughts, big picture thoughts on A-Day?
Okay, so I'll start with the good stuff. I really like. I think our defensive line is going to be really good. Tons of penetration. Pass rush was great. Cam Riley, my man from Evergreen, defensive MVP with a sack, like 2 or 3 tackles for loss, 5 total tackks. Kid is going to be everywhere. Hulking super team is what we called him in the Discord. That's going to be fun. There's a lot of depth. Saw guys make a lot of plays. Saw Powell Gordon's name called a bunch of times.
Yeah, how about that?
Thought that was interesting. Covering Tank 1-on-1 down the field. Pretty impressive. Offense. We're going to have to throw the ball 40 times a game. I think we're going to have to throw it 40 times a game. Granted, there's some injuries to the offensive line, but still really hard for us to get a consistent push running the ball. And I don't think that difference maker is coming in the portal. I don't think that there's going to be a difference maker that's going to change that. So we're going to have to – I feel like we're going to have to throw it a ton. I love the way they got Tank they mixed Tank in the passing game. That's what I've been begging to see, and they did it, and they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to get him the ball in the passing game for him to be able to utilize him to maximize his abilities.
It's going to be fun to see Jarquez there too, and that may allow them to have them both on the field at the same time too. You put them both on the field, see what the defense does, and then you put one of them out wide, and you put one of them in the backfield. I love that.
I do too. I love it. Absolutely love it. But yeah, it's just, man, that the wide receiver, I like some things Malcolm Johnson Jr. did. He looks really good. He kind of looks like a possible Odell Beckham or Jarvis Landry type wide receiver, just really young. That type of mold, that small but
who did you say that about real quick?
Malcolm Johnson Jr.
Malcolm Johnson. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then Tavares Dawson got open a few times, dropped one that he's probably going to catch a majority of the time. But
did we see him more than you thought we would?
I thought that's about what I expected. Okay. I thought maybe he might
more than I was thinking.
Yeah, I think he got a good exposure. That was good.
Okay.
Loved the decision making of Holden Garner. He knew the open pass before the ball snapped every single time.
So pretty. Yep.
And made a good back shoulder throw for a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, I just still think our weakness last year is going to be our weakness again this year. We did nothing to fix it. So we're going to have to take less mobile quarterbacks minus Robbie Ashford. If somehow he wins the job, he might be more mobile than Bo Nix, but I think it's going to be probably Calzada or TJ. Lean towards Calzada being the starter. Less mobile quarterbacks and throw the ball more. I just think they're going to have to. I think you're going to have to.
A lot of folks are all about the Robbie Ashford camp right now. Did what happened Saturday change your stance on that at all? What's your predicted depth chart for the quarterback after Saturday?
Oh, I think it's going to be – I mean, I still think it's going to be Calzada, TJ, or Ashford. But I do think there is definitely a more clear pathway for Robbie to be able to play pretty quicker than I would have ever thought. Based off of what people say from Birmingham or the Oregon people or whatever, I just didn't. I thought it was just sort of a flyer type thing with him. But the kid can play. He's got an absolute cannon. He's way, way faster than I thought.
He seemed like a gamer to me. Like it seemed like he was comfortable. It seemed like it wasn't moving too fast for him. I mean, he passed the eye test for me.
Big time. He can play. And I think he could be an SEC player with a little bit more seasoning for sure. But yeah, I'm still in the camp of we're going to struggle on offense. I feel like we're going to struggle, and it's going to be the exact same problems that we had last year because we either didn't or couldn't do anything to remedy them in the portal.
We're going to have to win games like 20-14.
Yeah. And it's probably really going to have return touchdowns, defensive turnover. Like we're going to have
field
a
position
little bit of
stuff.
Yeah, field position stuff. Yeah.
Which could happen. I mean, even when Auburn's had really good defenses, the turnovers don't really come, but maybe, I don't know who necessarily is going to be back there, returning punts consistently. It seems like that's still kind of a competition, but can you get somebody that can get, an extra 10 yards every time it's punted? Like that's going to be really important.
Yeah. Flipping the field is going to be very, very important. But yeah, man, I was hoping a little bit more explosion, but it's just it looked exactly the same. It looked exactly the same to me. Only Shanker looks way faster in 25.
He doesn't look like a tight end anymore.
No, he looks like a super H back.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Kyle Pitts out there.
Yes.
Like, okay, all right. I'm in. I'm down. I'm down for that.
I'll take a Kyle Pitts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, the tight end the situation was awesome. You mentioned Garner's touchdown pass to Landon King, and I brought this up yesterday, but where he lined up at the start of that play, it was not at tight end, and it wasn't even in the slot. I mean, it was far outside. Out wide, which is really all I wanted, and I'm glad we're getting that now.
Oh yeah. You want to see that throw just a tad higher, but still made a good. Landon King, his catch radius is so big. Like just get it in the vicinity, and he's going to make a play. So
That kid's concentration is wild. Like, it is amazing.
Hand eyes top notch. You can't.
It's
unbelievable.
This is probably too early in the year to have this conversation, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Do it.
What is your confidence level in this offensive coaching staff's ability to like use personnel
the way we want it to be used?
I mean, just to win, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, or is it all going to be just cliche stuff? Or will we see occasional, like, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, and, all of them are out wide? You know what I mean? Like, just to kind of see, okay, what is this opposing defense going to do? Are they going to put 4 linebackers on the field and like one of them has to cover Tank and one of them has to cover Landon King? Like, are we going to see that? Because I just don't feel like we are. I don't feel like that's something that this coaching staff is going to do. I feel a little more hopeful about it based on what we saw Saturday. I'm surprised they showed us that. I'm surprised they put Tank out there as much as they did. Really odd decision. I'm glad they did it because I feel a lot more confident about it. But, I mean, yeah, what's your confidence level on that?
So we have just so many formations that we use. Like, there's so many different formations. And I think the reason we do that is so that we can figure out ways to get people, get matchups and things like that. And so I actually do. I have way more faith that we'll be able to utilize. I don't think it's going to be just obvious that when we put a guy in a certain position that that ball's going to him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see this team, this offensive system as being like when so-and-so goes in, we're doing the wheel route, or when, we just talked about him. Landon King goes out wide, we're going to throw the fade to him or whatever. I don't have any problem with the style of offense and the way they get guys in the field and with the amount of formations that we use. I have a little faith that they don't have a choice. So they don't really have a choice not to try to do everything they can instead of just lining up in one back or I backfield or whatever and running into a wall 3 times and punting. Like, they don't have that option.
Yeah.
They're going to have to move the chains. And they're going to have to score points this year. Like, they got to make it happen this year. So I do. I have faith that they're going to at least try those things.
All right. I hope you're right. It's a Charlie Tuesday. We take a stab in predicting what will happen over the next few weeks. Next, right here on Locked On Auburn, Charlie 5. Before we jump into all that, what all is going on in your world? You got a lot of different stuff happening.
Masters Week was
stuff going on.
Yeah,
I worded that wrong, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, dude. So Masters Week was epic. We at the Dad Bod Golf Pod, we went 7 days in a row. 7 days in a row, tons of coverage, and we're going to continue to have fun doing fun golf content. That's just what's going on, and ready for now that football's over. Watch some Auburn baseball, and then speculate on what's going to happen all summer. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it is going to be a blast. So over the next few weeks, my dog is making some weird noises next to me. I'm sorry if the mic's picking that up. I'm trying to ignore
I can't hear it. I can't hear it. So we're good.
I shouldn't have said anything. Over the next few weeks, we're going to see a ton of dudes hit the portal all around the country. We're already starting to see it a little bit. 2 former 5 stars of Georgia entered the portal. Of course, Auburn fans are all over that. What are you expecting to see from an Auburn point of view over the next few weeks?
Well, it's not really so much of what I expect to see. It's what actually has to happen. Number one, there is no SEC player that can go in the portal that can play at Auburn next year. Because of the rule, they had to be in the portal by February 1st. There are some situations where you could get a waiver for something. I'm sure there's ways if you really, but you can't have, I don't see you can have multiple of those type guys. So we have to add people. We have to add bodies at offensive line, defensive end, edge type players, hopefully somewhere still a wide receiver. you're so down in numbers, you have to add bodies. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of younger guys that have multiple years left that will probably look to add on the football team. But I don't necessarily expect there to be a whole lot where you're going to see, like last year. See, people want to try to compare the late period last year to, oh, look, we got Marcus Harris last year. Well, that's because the immediate eligibility wasn't passed until later in the spring. So that a lot of kids weren't really sure. Some knew early or felt confident early they were going to go.
There were several like that we were waiting on. Like Donovan Kaufman was there as well.
Yeah.
Demetrius Robertson was kind of in a similar boat. We were kind of waiting for that rule to pass.
Yeah, that's already passed. So like those kids, difference makers, I feel like all were going to be in the portal early, and then now what you're going to see are maybe some non-Power 5 guys trying to level up, or you're going to see some Power 5 guys that just don't like their situation on the depth chart. Go look for playing time or go look for a better situation, and maybe will benefit, but it definitely won't be anybody from the SEC because they can't play in conference immediately next year if they're not already in the portal prior to February 1st. So
got it.
Again, I think we have to add people. I don't think we have an option because of numbers. I just don't think we're going to see a whole lot of starting level or like super difference makers to be added over the next couple of weeks or months or whatever.
Yeah, and I think most of these guys that have hit the portal, like with offensive tackle, like there's been a few, like the kid from Louisiana, I think would have been an upgrade.
Yeah.
But most of these guys, it's like not sold that significantly better than what we have. And so I almost feel like that's better. Get a good redshirt freshman tackle that has the traits, but maybe hasn't had the coaching yet.
Yeah.
And then maybe next season they'll be ready because Auburn's about to lose a ton of dudes.
Yeah.
Positions.
Exactly. And that's a really good point. Go snag you 2 or 3 tackles and let them duke it out for next year. Go snag 2 or 3 with the understanding that, hey, you got older guys in front of you. You're probably not going to start. We'll give you the opportunity, but they're all gone next year, and maybe you can slide in there, next year if you work hard. I think that's the kind of stuff you're going to see.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think like what are other positions that Auburn's going to lose a bunch of stuff at the end of this year. Defensive line, you're going to lose a ton.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to lose both of your edge rushers.
Yeah, that's why it's so important to get an edge. Yeah,
both of your big defensive tackles, and then you're obviously going to lose Kobe Wooden as well. So yeah, that's a big one. I mean, you're going to lose 5 or 6 rotational guys on your defensive front. So get a bunch of redshirt freshmen or redshirt sophomores that have traits that you like and start building again behind them. So
absolutely.
And none of these are going to be exciting, right? But just kind of know as these happen, like this coaching staff needs to build for the future as well. It's not all about 2023. So
exactly. I think the roster is pretty much where it's going to be as far as the starters go for next year right now. I mean, there's some guys that'll come back for injury, but yeah, I think this is pretty much it.
You really don't hear my dog? Like, this sounds so loud to me.
I swear I can't hear it. I can't hear anything.
Polo is saying hello to everyone.
Hello, Polo. Marco.
Nice. What do you think the sales pitch will be? Do you think it'll be the same one as we've seen over the offseason where Auburn has not been able to get a tackle or a wide receiver? Or do you think they change things up? Or if they go the route that we're talking about and they just get guys for the future, maybe they don't have to be as on top of it as they were.
I think we've pretty much said it. Look at what we have. Here's the depth chart should, in theory, sell itself. The depth chart should sell itself. After this year, it's up for. There's so many positions up for grabs. Like there's going to be an absolute fleet of kids leave from the offensive line. So
right,
come in and play. Come in and work hard, and everything's up for grabs next year. It seems like a pretty easy pitch to me. You just got to go work it and close it. You know what I mean? That would be the most enticing, especially with kids wanting it now. Right. I want it now. You only have one season to sit, and if you want it, you can have it. It's there. It's wide open.
Right. Yeah. It's like, can Zach Gethridge recruit every player, please? Thank you.
Seriously, just literally don't sleep, Zach. Just give it up. Just stop sleeping.
Just quit worrying about coaching defensive backs for a little bit. And just recruit.
Don't even coach. Don't coach. Just recruit. Solely recruit 24/7. Like, we'll figure the defensive back part out.
Yeah,
like, we'll figure the
right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
He's unbelievable.
What could go wrong?
We got to keep
what could go wrong? Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing. I can't.
I can't think of anything. Cool. Charlie 5, one more time. How can people find you, hear you, support you, connect with you, love
Absolutely.
you, all of these good things?
Absolutely. Follow me on Twitter, _Charlie_5. Jump in the Locked On Auburn Discord. I always mess that up. The Locked On Auburn Discord. And it's like a giant fun group text. We'll have a ton of fun.
Like a big group hug, honestly.
Big group hug 24/7. It's a blast. Or you can listen to me on the Dad Bod Golf Pod Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, and as he mentioned, the Locked On Auburn Discord, we will put it in the description down below. We'll be back tomorrow right here on Locked On Auburn.